Okay, done. Wow. Okay, hi everybody. Good night of Hanukkah. It's very, everybody's rushing, including me, to get everything done. So
Okay, we want to dedicate this Shir Le'ilu Neshmas Rezel Bas
Aaron, right?
Shalom.
Marcel, that's your mother, Marcel? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's, and where is she resting? In England or in here?
She's resting here. She's the one who's
She's the one who's getting you here.
against my
Okay.
Recording in progress.
Bishat Tova, Bishat Tova. Okay, we're going to learn today Megillas Antiochus. Did you just learn that? Megillas Antiochus?
No.
Okay.
No,
we're going to learn Megillat Antiochus. Some call it Megillat HaChashmonaim. It was written by the Chashmonaim, and it's a minhag, not a mitzvah. It's a minhag to learn this Megillah before and during Hanukkah. It tells the whole story of Hanukkah. Okay, so we're going to go through as much as we can. It's very short, relatively speaking. It's 50 what? Let me see how many psukim it is. It is 74 psukim, and we're going to go through. I'm going to go through it quickly. You can find this online, Megillat Antiochus. It's an old custom to say this, and it tells the whole story as opposed to what's written in Gemara Shabbos, which is more of a kisur version and a different type of a version. And here's Megillat Antiochus. Okay, so Antiochus was the king of Yavan, and he was a great king. It says, I'm just translating it, and all the other kings in the world listened to him. So we know that Yavan is nowadays Greece. Greece is nowadays the place where people jump to when they have to renew their visa, and they can't renew their visa because they're in Israeli or whatever. They run over. They take a plane over to Greece or to Cyprus or to some close country just to get out of the country for a little bit and then to renew the visa. That's the importance of Greece nowadays in Jewish history, that Israelis use it as a stop off. Sometimes you also use it as a stop off to get here. They have all kinds of airplanes that but it's nothing. It has no power whatsoever. But in those days, Antiochus, the king of Yavan, Yavan, as you know, is from Yefet, and Yavan is Yud Vav Nun. All of those letters are straight lines, and if you put a tzaddik in front of it, you get the word Sion, right? Look at the word Yavan. I don't have my blackboard in back of me, but if you have the word Yavan, Yud and Vav and Nun, and put a tzaddik in front of the whole thing, you get the word Sion. So the Yavanim needed tzaddik. In other words, they need, in order for their philosophy to have any use in this world, they need to be guided by a tzaddik, because as you know, Yavan was in from Yefet. Yefet was supposed to be under the dominion of Shem, and so, but until that happens, it's going to happen when Mashiach comes, and it happens a little bit now. For example, the devices that we're all listening to right now are Yavan, meaning they're scientific devices that are being used to communicate all over the world. That's the kind of thing that the Yavanim were interested in. So in the physical world, the very, very physical world. And the main problem with the Yavanim, and again, you're going to hear Rovadim. There's so many different layers and levels of the understanding of what Hanukkah is. But if you want to break it down to its lowest level, so we're going to see in this Megillah that he repeats over and over again that the things that he wanted to get rid of in the Jewish people are Shabbos, Bris, and Rosh Chodesh. Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh, and Milah. That's the one that they wanted to over and over again uproot, and that's because each of these mitzvot have a treaty, have a connection with God. We have a special bris, a special covenant, a special contract with God about Shabbos, right? Osi b'nei u'b'neichem. It's a sign between us all. Rosh Chodesh is given to the Jewish people as a gift to rule over the galaxies, and Bris Milah is a gift to the Jewish people to rule over the body. And Shabbos is a gift to rule over that the Jewish people should rule over time. So time and mazal and everything is what we believe we are in charge of. And the Yavanim said that's ridiculous. They couldn't handle it. Okay, so he had two. Antiochus had two people that were underneath him. One was named as Bagris, and one was named as Nicanor. He sent Nicanor first. I'm sure you'll remember that the gates of Yerushalayim are the gates of Nicanor, Shar Nicanor. So we know that Nicanor was the one who was sent first. The Antiochus heard that the Jewish people are not giving in. They're not buying his spiel of, he wants to be one world religion, which is really what he wanted to do. He wanted to make one world religion underneath him. He's the one who's going to say it, and that one world religion will worship him, Antiochus, and the body and the physicality. And of course, we are stubborn, Baruch Hashem. And so the first complaint on us was, "Halo yadatim ki yeshim am Yehudim asher b'Yushalayim beinenu." Do you realize that there's Jews in Yerushalayim? Le'Eloheinu einam makridim. They don't bow down to our gods. V'dateinu einam osim. I'm reading from the Megillah Antiochus. And our religion, their religion, we don't do. V'datei hamelech oslim la'asot atam. And they leave the religion of the king Antiochus, and they do their own thing. They live their own religion. They leave their own religion. Now here's the Lashon Hara that he said. What he said before was okay. That's true. We don't believe in other gods, and we're entitled to believe in our religion. But then he put in a little bit of Lashon Hara, and a big lie, and he said, and this is, by the way, the lie that all anti-Semites use, and he says, and they're waiting for the day where they'll break all the kings of the world, and they say, Matayim loch aleinu malkeinu, when is our God going to rule over us? V'nishlot bayam u'bayabasha, and we, the Jewish people, will rule over the water and the dry land. V'chol ha'olam yinatem biyadenu, and the whole world will be given into our hands. That idea of the Jews rule the world, that is the Lashon Hara that has been going on since the time of Chanuka. It's the same Lashon Hara. Jews run the world, Jews run Hollywood, Jews run the banks. Okay, and we want to take over the world. And this is said by people who actually want to take over the world and can't handle the fact that we are stubborn to our and so the servants of Antiochus said exactly what Haman said to Achashverosh. It's written. This Megillat Antiochus is very, very similar. It's short, but it's very similar to some of the terminologies in Megillas Esther. Like its beginning says, by Hibi Antiochus, right? Melech Yavan. Same thing as by Hibi Achashverosh, right? And it's not honorable for you to let them live, King Antiochus. So therefore, let's just destroy them. So Antiochus says, that's a good idea. Why not? And he sent Nicanor. He first sent Nicanor, and Nicanor came, and he did a lot of damage here. He came into the Beis Hamikdash, which was because Israel was under the. Remember the whole history of the Jewish people. The first exile was Babylon, and then the second exile was Persia, right? After Persia, we built the Beis Hamikdash, second Beis Hamikdash, and this is the time of the second Beis Hamikdash, when after Persia built the second Beis Hamikdash, right, Esther's son, then Yavan took over Persia. So now we're under the dominion, or we're under the government here is the government of Yavan. So they came easily into Yerushalayim, and they messed up the Beis Hamikdash, and they made a chazir. This is the first attack. The first attack was they brought a chazir, they brought a pig, and they shechted in the Beis Hamikdash. Then Yochanan ben Matityahu Kohen Gadol heard about this, and he was furious, and he went and he decided he's going to kill this Nicanor. So what did he do? He made a big cherev, and he went to Nicanor, and he walked in bold and strong. First he said it's tefillah, and he said, I'll read you his tefillah. Hashem, lo atzasim alechet. One second, no, he said a big tefillah before that. Here's what he said: Elokai v'Elokai Avotai, my God and my God, the God of my fathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Al titnei b'idei ha'arei. Don't give me into the hands of this uncircumcised guy. Ki im yihageni, because if he kills me, v'yelech lishtabach b'veis dagon Elohav, he's going to go to his idol and he's going to praise his idol and say that his idol killed me. So what did he do then? He went boldly into the palace of this Nicanor, wherever he was staying, and he said, I want to talk to you. I'm the head of the Jews. I want to talk to him. They announced him as the Kohen Gadol is here. So he goes into Nicanor. Nicanor says, are you Yochanan? He says, yes. He said, I would like you to be makriv another chazir on the Mizbeach. And so Yochanan said like this. He said, if the Jews hear about this, that you're having this discussion with me, they're going to kill me. So first of all, let's negotiate. Send all of you people out of the room because they're going to leak it. They're going to leak this whole conversation, and I'm going to get killed. So he said. So Nicanor sent everybody out of the way. He sent all of his guys out of the way, and then Yochanan Kohen Gadol, Ben Mattiah Kohen Gadol, took out this big spear that he made, and he stabbed him and he killed him. Yay! And then he came out and he thanked Hashem and he said, "Please Hashem, forgive me that I killed a person in the area in the Heichal in the Beis Hamikdash, but I'm doing it only because these people are coming and trying to destroy you. They're trying to destroy the Jewish people." And that day he killed. Listen to this: Shva meot elef v'shivim elef, 772,000 people that day. Now, I don't exactly know how the numbers work here, and this war slept out for 43 years, something like that, or 63 years. It was a very long war. But whatever it was, huge amounts of people were killed in that day, and and by when the Jews began to rebel against the Ivan. So then the word got back to Antiochus that Nicanor was killed. So he sends Bagris, his next guy in command. He sends him, and he says to him, "You go and kill them." So he tries to kill us, and he tries to make these decrees about against Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh, and Bris Milah, and he failed also. And so he sent back to Antiochus, and he said, "Listen, these guys are very, very strong, and they have some supernatural power on their side. So if you want to get rid of the Jews in Palestine, right, in Israel, then you have to bring all the armies from all over the world. You have to bring all of those armies, including tanks. Now, in those days, the tanks were these armed elephants that were just, like nowadays, you have cars that terrorists are operating cars, and they'll drive into a bunch of people, right? So, and then right away, somebody will, kill the terrorists. Well, in those days, they had elephants who would just stomp around and squish people and jump into places, and they couldn't kill them because they're huge and mammoth, and they would have riders on the top of the elephants that were shooting with spears, and this was considered the most deadly. And so that's what Bagris, who tried. So the second attempt to kill the Jews was with Bagris, and he couldn't do it. And so then he sends a third attempt. Bagris sends back, runs to Antiochus, and he says, "Send me more men, and send me animals, and send me all kinds of crazy things." And that's what he did. He sends so this schlepped out for a long time. In the meantime, every time that there was a little bit of a break, the Jewish people would have a little bit of a break. But then they would hide again. Whenever there was an enemy, they would hide again. They hid in the mountains. They hid in the caves. The whole area now of Kiryat Sefer, Maccabim, what's that over there? What's it called over there? Where the Moshav Matisyahu is, and I forgot that other city there. That's the whole area where it was all covered in caves. No, in Israel now, this whole area that I just mentioned to you was all caves, and you could see some of them. And the Jews ran to hide into these caves because they didn't want to give up Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh and Bris Milah. And there was stories, and the Megillah Antiochus says that when they decreed against Bris Milah, so a woman is a couple gave a bris milah to their children, and so the Yevanim found out about that, and they hung them in public, all three of them, the baby and the mother and the father. They hung them in public. Then the next baby that was born, a woman, and her husband had died already, and a woman gave the baby a bris milah, and then she jumped on top of a building, and she said, "You're not going to take this mitzvah away from us." She threw the baby down, and she jumped down, and they both were killed. And then another third story in Megillah Antiochus, the third story of a group of Jews, 1,000 Jews who fled to the hills. Modi'in, that's where it is, in the area of Modi'in. They fled to the hills, and they went, so they lived in caves, and one cave contained 1,000 people. And the Yevanim heard about this cave, and they heard that the Jews were in that cave, and they went to the cave, and they said, come out, and we'll give you great honor, and we'll give you great wealth, and we'll give you great riches, don't be afraid of us. And the Jewish people in the cave said, but we're not going to break Shabbos, we're not going to give up our life for Shabbos. It says, it says they said that Zochrim Anach. This is what the Megillah says. Vayanu b'nei Yisrael vayomer ela 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 ela. And they said to each other, Zochrim Anach, we remember Asher Sivanu Hashem al Har Sinai. We remember that God commanded us on Mount Sinai. Sheshes Yamim Tavor ve'asitza kol nafsecha v'yam Shabbat tishbot. That you're allowed to work for 6 days, and 7th day you have to keep Shabbos. Atah tov lanu asher namut b'me'ara mi'asher nechalel et Yom HaShabbat. It's better for us to die in this cave than to break Shabbos, and they were all smoked to death. They threw the Yevanim were furious that they decided that we were strong, but we were defying them, and they put fire at the mouth of the cave, and they choked, and everybody was smoked. Everybody choked. Okay, then Bagris, when he saw the stubbornness of the Jewish people, could you imagine? Just think about it today. Think about it today. Would anybody have the nerve to kill another human being just because they don't keep that same religion? Yes, that's what the Arabs are doing right now. The Sunnis, the Shiites, they're trying to kill the all of the sects that are in Syria that are not theirs, right? That's why you heard that the Drusim of southern Syria put in an official six villages, 6 Druzi villages on our border, on the northern Israel, southern Syria border. They sent a message, a request to Netanyahu to make them part of Israel. They want to join Israel. They're willing to give up that land. That land should be called Israel, and they want to become Israeli citizens because Jews, are loyal citizens to whichever country they belong to. But now that Syria doesn't have a country, they don't have really an official government because this government wasn't elected, so they're released of their vow because the Jews have a vow that they take that they have to be loyal to the country that they're living in, and that's why there's Jews in the south and Jews in Israel, and they're same cousins. They have Jews in Syria, and they're cousins to each other, right? They're all related, but the Jews in Syria have to officially be enemies of their cousins, the Jews in Israel, because they have to be loyal to their country. But now that they don't have a country, meaning that the government is in a turmoil, so these Jews have requested to become, that Israel should annex them. How interesting is that? Could you imagine if that happens? That's the way that the land of Israel will expand to its biblical borders. It's just mind-blowing. Okay, so but let's get back to so we're back and forth, miracles of now and miracles of then. Then they send these elephants, and they send these thousands and thousands of people, and they come to Yerushalayim, and in the beginning they succeed until the sons of Matisyahu gird their loins and they get together. So they made when the sons of Matisyahu heard what was going on, they decided that they're going to fight. And so there were 5 sons, let's say their names: Yehuda Maccabi, Shimon Maccabi, Yochanan Maccabi, Yonatan Maccabi, and Elazar Maccabi. And their father Matityahu said to them the following. He said, Yehuda beni, you're like Yehuda ben Yaakov. That was the Moshel. That was Nimshal, that was like a lion. And Shimon, you're like Shimon ben Yaakov, that you killed all of the inhabitants of Shem. And Yochanan, you're like Avner ben Ner, the Sar Tzava of the Jewish people of David HaMelech. And Yonatan, you're like Yonatan, the son of Shaul HaMelech, that killed Plishtim. And Elazar is Pinchas is Eliyahu Navi. So all of you now listen to what he did. All of you, I'm not reading the Mefarshim here, but I'm just explaining to you that. Sorry, excuse me. And oh, another one. And bless you too. I know whenever I sneeze, people say bless you, so I bless you also. So all of these 5, Matisyahu, the father blessed them. They should become an ibur. They should receive the soul of each of the people that they were named for or compared to. And in that way, the 5 of them and Matisyahu himself could take over the whole world. And so that's indeed what happened. They fought and they destroyed everybody. They got rid of all the Yevanim. They left the country, and all the Mityavnim, the Jews who had assimilated, became very, very fearful. In that moment, Yehuda was killed. Yehuda, the oldest one, was killed, and Matityahu and the brothers were very frightened. And Matityahu said, "Okay, I'm coming into the war with you right now." And he began to fight with them, and they strengthened and they fought and they won. Now, it doesn't say the details of what they did here, but it says that nobody was left there, and all the ones who were left from all the mercenaries ran away, and they fled on the sea until Ad Kadekha, to the point where Antiochus Hamelech, he also ran away, the king Antiochus, who had named the city after himself, and he was such a bad guy that he ran away, and people would call him the Boreach. The Boreach means the one who ran away, the coward. They called him that, and he lost all of his power. And then, of course, then at the very, very end of the Megillah, it says that they finally, after years and years of battling, also after years and years of battling, they finally went back to the Beis Hamikdash. Now, some say that the miracle of the oil happened on the third year of the fighting, and so, but that after that miracle happened, that miracle was only to give encouragement and strength to the Jews. So, what the end of the Megillah says, afterwards they came to the Beis Hamikdash, and they built it up again, and they closed up all of the holes, and they took out all the dead bodies. Nebuch, there were dead bodies there, and they purified they washed everything, they purified everything, and then they wanted to light the menorah. Now, why did they want to light the menorah and not do a carbon right away? They should have done a carbon right away, because the carbon, the sacrifice of the chazir, right? That was the thing that defiled the Beis Hamikdash, the sacrifice of that pig. So why didn't they want to do a sacrifice right away? Or why didn't they want to bake the challah bread right away? Or why didn't they want to make the ketoris, the incense, right away? Or why didn't they want to go into the mikveh right away? It doesn't say that. Why did they invest so much effort into that menorah? So you understand it's a very clear why they wanted the menorah. The menorah represented the concept of spiritual enlightenment and seeing the truth. That's what the menorah represented. It represented the idea of, I'm going to look for truth instead of looking at fake, because the Yavanim were very, very into fake, meaning they weren't into fake, like fake eyelashes and fake I don't know, Botox. They were into the idea that the world is physical and only physical. They couldn't see past that. And on a certain level, their vision was limited. Their spirituality was limited. Their understanding of this world was limited. They didn't have a vision of spirituality. They didn't have a vision of Hashem. And that vision and that enlightenment and that understanding is all coming from the menorah in the Beis Hamikdash. That's why they provide Akshu Shemen, Zayit Zach. That's why they wanted to light the menorah. And of course, we know also that there's something called Chokhmah Chitzoni and Chokhmah Eloki. The Chokhmah Chitzoni is what the Yavanim had. They had wisdom divorced from God. Now, wisdom that is real wisdom, in other words, let's say mathematics. Mathematics is a very dry wisdom, or chemistry, or biology, where you can see what you're looking at. You see it's not something theoretical. It's something very, very provable. It's empirical. It's on the ground. It's something that you can measure and quantify, etc. Those wisdoms are all rooted in God. God made them up. One of my students showed me such a cute little meme. It said, "Vayomer Elokim," and God said, "Let there be light." And then there's a whole like equation and all these terms of physics and chemistry, all these like equations of what how you can define light. In other words, the light that we see. Of course, that first light wasn't the light that God said, "Let there be light," but it's just a cute meme. And God said, "Let there be equal MC square," whatever, all the different formulas in physics, and there was light. In other words, Hashem made up all the rules. Hashem made up physics. Hashem made up science. Hashem made up everything. It's all from God. It's not man-made, and it's not by itself. And science didn't make up itself. It's all from Hashem. And so that's the concept of the menorah. Now, you should know that the menorah didn't have just the shemen and the shemen, of course, which is which is, as I said, the Shemen is oil, and it's compared to Chachma, wisdom. And there's elevated wisdom and there's secular wisdom. Secular wisdom needs to be elevated. In other words, there's whatever wisdom that exists in the world that's real, you have to just study it and then say that's from God. You can study it and then give it over and study one step further and say, this is God. This is what God revealed. This is how God did this. This is the mechanism that Hashem created and uses to make light and to make sufganiyot and to make whatever. That's why they wanted the Shemen. But also they wanted the Shemen, and this is a teaching that Rav Kessin brings down from the Ramchal. They wanted the Shemen, they wanted to light the menorah because the menorah symbolizes the divine light that's going to be revealed during Mashiach's time. When was that divine light revealed? It was revealed to Adam and Chava, and then they lost it. Then it was revealed to the Jewish people on Har Sinai and Mount Sinai when we received the Torah, and then we lost it 40 days later when we made the golden calf. And so we had the teshuvah for the golden calf. And so Chanukah and the devotion at the Hashmonaim, just 5 guys, and the father 6, and then all the people that were working with them, all those Jews, a minority of people, maybe 10,000 Jews, I think they counted all together. The sum total of all Jews who were fighting were maybe 10,000 people in those days. And those Jews had to receive and accept the Torah with passion, with love, and with absolutely total commitment. The lady that said, I'm going to kill myself and my son just so I could keep bris milah. The 1,000 people who said, I'm going to die rather than break Shabbos. The couple that circumcised their son and then were hung in public. All of those people were the people who were fixing the sin of the golden calf. The golden calf sin was there's something else, like we can make God a symbol. And Hashem says, no, you can't make me a symbol. I'm not a symbol. There's no symbols about me. There's no physicality about me. The Greeks made physicality until they ended up worshiping the physicality. And so that was a tikkun of fixing. Hanukkah was a fixing of the chait of the egel, the sin of the golden calf. And the sin of the golden calf was also akin to the idea that they sacrificed a chazir, a pig, an unclean animal in the Beis Hamikdash. That's why they went to look for shemens. They want to light the menorah. Now they could have lit the menorah with anything, but the whole point was we want to have pure Judaism. We want to have pure godliness. We don't want to have it mixed in with Syrian philosophy and all that kind of stuff. We want pure God. And so they looked for the pure oil. And they found that this is the part of the story that most people know. They found it, and it's called here a tzinset, slochit achat, one little, right? How do you say slochit? A jar, right? A jug of oil that had the Kohen Gadol's, the hechsher of the B'tzabat HaKohen HaGadol, the stamp of the Kohen Gadol. And where was this tzinset buried? This slochit of Shemen was buried underneath the boards, underneath the floor in the Beis Hamikdash. And there's a whole story about that Pach Shemen that they buried underneath the flooring of the second Beis Hamikdash, having understanding that we would one day need this. And of course, the amount was enough to light the menorah for one day. And Velokei Hashamayim Asher Shikein Shemo Sham, but this is the pasuk here. But the God of heaven who dwelled in the place of the Beis Hamikdash, in other words, Hashem, Natan Babracha, he gave a blessing to this oil, V'hidliku Mimena Shmona Yamim, and they lit it 8 days. And of course, you know that the question is, did they put it all in the menorah and did it miraculously light 8 days, or they divide it into little pieces and then every day it lit a whole day? There's many, many different miracles that happen with the Shemen. But this Shemen, it says, Al Ken Kimu B'nei Chashmonai Kiyum, and Chizku Isar. And therefore the B'nei Chashmonai in the Al Hanisim, it says they waited till the next year to see if the energy of the holiday would still be prevalent. And they made these days with the Jewish people, exactly the words used in Megillas Esther. There's another similarity. But like the days of the holidays that are written in the Torah, and you can't do, and you don't do hespedim, will exhort some, fast, Zulatia Shenukubala Milifneze, Vitpalel Lifnei Elakav, Achashmonai Vanav, Acharim, Lo Gazru Bahem Levatel Avodat HaMelacha. But they didn't, just like on Purim, we have rabbinical holiday on Purim, but we're allowed to do Malacha. They didn't decree upon us that we can't do creative labor like on Shabbos. So we are allowed to do creative labor, but it's days of Simcha and it's days of celebration and days of saying thank you to Hashem. That's what Al Hanisim is all about. The prayer that we say, Al Hanisim, we say it. And I'm just reading the last 5 psukim of the whole Megillah. Umira etahu lo yashem l'malchut Yavan. And from that day on, from that time onward, the whole kingdom of Yavan, of Greece, began to falter, began to fail, not just in Israel, but in the entire world. Vayikablu malchut b'nei Chashmonai b'nei b'neihem. And then who ruled in Israel was the Chashmonai family and their descendants. 206 years. We know that's the Chashmonai family who were Kohanim. They ruled over Israel. And we know, sadly, that there was a mistake that was made, and that's why we're not out of exile yet, because they didn't give over after the whole story was over. After everybody was peaceful, and the Beis Hamikdash was operational again, and the Yevanim were kicked out and were, lower status in the world. Then the Chashmonai family was supposed to seek out the descendants of the Malchus Beis David, of David's descendants, and give the rulership over to them, and they didn't, and that's why we're still in exile. So Hanukkah has a little bit of bittersweet in it, just like Purim has a little bit of bittersweet in it, but at least we're alive and at least we're still religious. Al Kain, right? Al Kain b'nei Yisrael mehayom hazeh b'chol galutam shomim et hayamim ha'ela. That's why the Jewish people in all of our exiles. You see the Megillah says, because we're going to have exile, because there was just a slight hint. You see the Megillah Chashmonaim, the Megillah Antiochus did not say that, did not criticize the family of Chashmonai. It was a veiled criticism, because, in other words, that they didn't give over the Malchus too much to David HaMelech's kingdom. It was a veiled criticism. What was it? It was that, but it didn't mention the Galus, that we're still in exile. In these exile that we're in, we keep these days. Which starts tonight in a few hours, from the 25th of the month of Kislev, 8 days. Now this is the last psukim of this Megillat Antiochus, Megillat Chashmonaim. From that day until forever, lo yasuru mehem, it's never going to leave them. Asher hayu beveit mikdasham hakohanim v'halavim v'chachmeihem, asher kimu aleim et b'nei b'neihem ad olam. This holiday will be forever. From here we see that even when Mashiach comes, we're still going to have this holiday. Ha'el asher asa imahem neis v'fela, the God who made with them wonders and miracles. Hu yaseh lanu nisim v'niflaot. He should make us nisim v'niflaot, wonders and miracles. And the pasuk that says that we're about to read from Micha should be established. It should happen to us. And here's a pasuk. It's a Mashiach pasuk. Kimei tzeincha me'eretz Mitzrayim enu niflaot. As in the days when I took you out of Mitzrayim, I will show you miracles. Chazal tell us that this is the pasuk talking about Mashiach, and Mashiach will come. The same pattern that happened when when God took us out of Egypt, the same pattern will be the same pattern that God will take us out of this exile that we're in now. And that pasuk seemingly has no relevance to this whole story, but the hidden meaning behind it is that this whole story is one of the Mashiach stories. Chanukah is one of the Mashiach holidays. Chanukah and Pesach are both holidays that even secular Jews know. They remember it. They know it. They acknowledge the Chanukah's holiday. They do whatever they do, and Pesach they do whatever they do, because these are holidays that are bringing closer the Yemot HaMashiach. And let's hope that this Chanukah we have big miracles. We see that the world is really falling apart, and that every single day there are threats from all the powers in the world. This one's threatening, and that one's threatening, and this one's saber rattling, and this one's making up making up, stories and all the things that are going on in America with those drones or with whatever they are that their people are seeing in the sky. And all of these things are happening right now, exactly around Hanukkah and exactly around the shifting of the world. We know that the whole world is um, with bated breath. We're just all waiting to see what's happening. So many people in America are saying that that um, the reason the American federal government is not commenting at all. It's really, really lo human. It's not to be believed. If any of you are listening from America, you can tell us what your thoughts are. But it's very hard to believe that so many people in America, all over the country of America, are seeing some things in the sky at night. Now, I don't know if that was a common thing, because we do know that there are drones all over the place, and they're legal, and people take it on vacation because they want to like make the drone go high up and has a camera on it and take pictures of them on the beach down below and whatever. But the federal government of America is literally just not saying anything. And not just that, but Trump, who seems to be, everyone's hoping that he will be a friend of humanity, he's also said not saying anything. He just says the government knows what it is and he doesn't know why, but they're not telling people. So there are some people who are saying, because what can you do? There's nothing that people are going to be able to do. It's just going to cause panic. Why cause panic earlier? Some people are saying it's just a lead up to some kind of a big show that they're going to make. Everybody has their theory. But the bottom line is, and I'll tell you something interesting. The bottom line is that the only ones who are going to survive this whole entire world are people who have faith in God. Now, you have to not have faith in an idol, can't have faith in a man, can't have faith in a statue, can't have faith. You have to have faith in the creator of heaven and earth, who created the world and who gave the world the Torah to the Jewish people to share with the entire world. That creator you have to trust in. That's for the non-Jews. And the Jewish people have to trust in Hashem, the same creator. But we have the Torah that he gave us 613 mitzvot to do. And that's it. There's nothing that we can do. When they said that at the end of time till Mashiach comes, it's going to be a shaky roller coaster ride, and you have to really buckle your seatbelts and hold on tight. That's what we see right now. We have no idea what's going to happen. By the way, this morning, I don't know if you heard it wherever you were, but I heard the bomb going off in 4 o'clock. What time was it? Like 4:30ish, 4:40ish. Here we heard a rumble. We didn't have a siren in Yerushalayim, but I heard a rumble like whatever. It was a different kind of a sound. It wasn't the boom that you hear when they shoot down something. It was a rumble. That's the only way I can describe it. And every day we're just waiting to see. So on one hand, in our private lives, everyone's going through their private life. Whatever you're going through, you have to, whatever you're going through in your own private life. Everybody has a private life if they're going through something. But then there's a world. What's the world going through? What's Hashem doing? So you have to be able to juggle both. And keep in mind that Hashem is in control, and just to let go, just really to let go. I have a friend, she should be well, she needs her full name, so I'll say. So she was once, she's very afraid of flying. And so she was once going to fly when I lived in America all those years ago. So she wanted to fly to Israel, and she wanted me to book a ticket the same day because she was afraid to fly. So I did. I booked the ticket the same day because I was going anyway. So I just arranged it. So I booked the ticket, and we flew on the same flight on the same plane. So what I do when I haven't been to America, Baruch Hashem, in many years, because my kids come here now. So I have no reason to go. And my students come here now. Anybody who's interested in seeing me contacts me. I used to go to America to see my students, to give classes. Now classes are all online. Anybody who comes to Israel, just give me a call. They come over. We meet at the Kotel. We meet at my house. So I don't have to go to America anymore. And the truth is, it's nice to shop in America. But I also have people who could shop for me and send it to me. So there's no reason for me to go. Anyway. But whenever I used to go to America, whenever I used to go on a plane, so my practice was always the same. I would get on the plane, I would eat and drink something, I would go to the bathroom, and then I would sit in my seat, ignore all the schedule of the plane, put the blanket over my head and go to sleep. That was what I would do. I needed to sleep because wherever I was going, I had to get off the plane and just get into. I didn't have time for jet lag. So I used to always sleep on the plane, and I would be able to sleep on the plane. And my friend kept nudging me, get up. She was afraid. I should, And I would go to sleep, which was really no use of no use to her. But I guess my presence there was a little comforting. But whatever it is, she asked me afterwards, like, "Aren't you scared on a plane? Like, what if a plane crashes? What if this? What if that?" And I said, "Listen, I'm a person who's a pretty controlling person. That's just how I am. I have that nature in me that I like to control things. I like to Linahel Kita, Linahel Shiur. I like to tell people what to do. That's what I've been doing for my whole life, teaching and guiding. So I'm generally a person and I'm a planner and I'm organized. So I like to have my plans. And on the plane, there's nothing I can do. Zero. If something happens, there's zero I can do. So I really enjoy getting on a plane, letting go of all control, giving myself into Hashem's arms, and going to sleep. Because what can I do? Because if you're worried, worrying means you think you could do something. Because worrying means do something. Like I have to control the situation, but you can't control the situation. So why? Anyway, that was my thought. My mindset. And nowadays in the planet Earth, that's how everybody has to be. Let go, let go, let God. There's nothing you can do. Just what the Gemara says: Torah and mitzvot and chesed. Right? How you saved from the difficult, from the challenges of before Mashiach is support Torah, learn Torah, and do a lot of kindnesses, do a lot of chesed. Keep all the mitzvot. Be the best Jew that you could be the best Noahide that you could be the best human being that you could be, really and truly, and be the most godly that you can be, and do kindness. If you're a Jew, you have mitzvah to do. If you're a non-Jew, you have 7 mitzvah to do. And you have to learn them, the 7 Noahide laws. You have to learn them, study them, and be careful in them. I'm privileged to have many Benot Noach, Noahide women students, and they're very makpid. They're very careful with their mitzvah, very careful. So we all have to be careful. We all have to be loving Hashem, thanking Hashem, connecting to Hashem, and praying. That's it. We have to pray that we survive this, and Hashem chooses us to survive, and only good things. Okay, I see that I was frozen. No, okay, I'm not frozen. Thank you, Hashem, for not being frozen. Thank you, Hashem, for everything. Hi, Gitzi, Marcel, and Robinson Rochel, and Yehudis. You should all have a Freilich Chanukah, a healthy, happy, wonderful, miraculous Hanukkah. Feel good. Take good care of yourselves. And all the people on YouTube, thank you for coming. And you could always say hi. The comments on YouTube, thank you for the checks and all of the things. The comments on YouTube, you can comment afterwards. You can comment during. I don't exactly know how to do that, but maybe if you do, you could. Everybody should have a miraculous Hanukkah. Okay.
Thank you. Then please, everyone, buy your candles.
What?
I'm going to send out the list of the hostages, and please, everyone, tell them for their names
by the candles. Okay.
Can we find that book, the Megillat? Where can we get a copy of?
I don't know. You have to find it. I don't know what to tell you. I have one in my house, and it's a sefer, but I don't know where you could find it. Ask online or read it online. It's not in the siddur. It's only in the Hanukkah book. Maybe you have a book on Hanukkah. It'll have Gillas Antiochus. Okay, I can't get off. I can't find the thing that says end class. So Gitzi, can you close the class?
I'll end it.
Okay, thank you, and I'll end.
I'll
end.
Freilich
Hanukkah, everybody.
Recordings.